Tie and tie till you succeed. A new line has been coined. This is absolute blockbuster T20 stuff. This is what Bangalore does to games like these. Afghanistan gave India a scare not once but twice. They came so close, and at one stage one would have thought to score 11 or 12 in the end should be very much possible. But then Messrs Bishnoi and Rinku Singh combined to take those 2 wickets to give India a win. India win the series 3-0 and remain unbeaten for the 15th consecutive time in T20 international cricket in India. Cricbuzz Live, a show that should have ended long ago. We should have gone home and slept by now, but we're still here for all of you. Rohan Gavaskar is a happy man because he's seen perhaps one of the most memorable T20 games ever.
Look, super over, then super over, just the way, when we were watching the game and we thought first we were just going to come and talk after the game got, the original 20 overs got over. We were talking about that last over from Karim Jannat. 36, and was that the turning point? Then boom, super over. Yeah. Then boom, super over. So look, not just me, I think if you're a cricket fan, this was entertainment at its best.
It's so difficult to keep a track of all the big performances in this game because we saw a magnificent 100 from Rohit Sharma. We saw the bowlers struggle a little bit. 430-ish runs scored in those 40. Then all this drama, so much happened in a span of, 4 hours?
Yeah, in that sense, you have to say that Bangalore is one of the best T20 pitches in the world. I mean, the kind of games it gives you, because of the ground and the fact that once you're set, you can get almost anything. Yep. It means that no chase is impossible, and you get a lot of high-scoring contests out here.
Yep.
And you've just got to benchmark yourself against that. This was a superb cricket match because so much happened.
Yep.
India got 36 in the last over. In the last 2 overs that Afghanistan was batting, they got 35 runs in 2 overs. Yeah. So somewhere they caught up. They managed to score 18 runs in the last over to make it a tie. Then the super over happened. Omarzai bowled the first one. There's so much that's happened with this game. There's so many twists and turns. It's like a good, Jeffrey Deaver plot. It just changes every time you get somewhere. The plot changes.
For the Hindi audiences, it was more like an Abbas Mastan plot.
Abbas Mastan
twist at every step. Yeah. But that first super over, where Afghanistan. Sorry, sir, go on.
Will there be a Hindi audience in an English show?
Of course, sir. There are lots of Hindi-speaking, Hindi movie-loving people who watch Cricbuzz Live. But this super over, that 3B, that last ball, is that where the moment that gave us an extension in this match. It was a slightly controversial.
It was controversial, but look, there's 2 points to that. The point is that firstly, if he had deliberately hit the ball, if he had deliberately in any way touched the ball, in any case he was out.
Yeah.
The game immediately stops because then it's obstruction of the ball. If India appeals, he's gone.
Yeah.
Okay. So that means that he didn't do it deliberately. Yeah. Clearly. Okay. Because if he's done deliberately, he's out.
Yeah.
Okay. If he didn't do it deliberately, it's just one of those things. He ran. I mean, the point was that Virat stopped because he thought he wouldn't run. But Virat shouldn't have waited for him to take that call. Virat should have just thrown.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what. So what happened was it just put a bit of a sour note in proceedings. I mean, at that point in time, the Indians were frustrated. They thought it was unsporting. But the point of it was, it also just disturbed the Indian, Rohit and all who were going out to bat.
My point on this is you can't cherry pick your view on spirit of cricket.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was coming to. Yeah.
If you're going to run a player out when he's taking a start at the non-striker's end, and as you should, because that's within the laws, and you run him out.
Yeah.
This is within the laws. He's not done it purposely.
Yep.
He'll run.
And enjoy. If a boundary is allowed in an ODI World Cup final, why should this be wrong?
Yeah, look, if you saw the end, and that's what Nabi is explaining, he says, if I didn't know, it's not my fault that you didn't throw in immediately.
Yeah.
That was Virat who was upset that they would run. Yeah. But the point is, Virat should have first thrown and then talked.
Yeah.
And look, it's one of those things. It happens in the heat of the moment, and it clearly caught him by surprise.
Yeah.
But the point of it was, the Afghan players were completely within their rights.
Yep. Also, Rohit Sharma gave us a moment which was pretty much Gully Cricket Pro Max. For him to, was it retired out? Was it retired hurt? That's open to interpretation. Because if he was retired out, then he shouldn't have been allowed to come back to bat in the second super over?
I think that's the point. He can't be retired hurt because at that point in time for retired hurt also, aren't you supposed to have some sort of an evidence that you've been injured in some way or form?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he can be retired out, and that's completely within the rules of the game.
But Joy, if you say you've got a cramp, how there's no evidence.
Okay. So then the communication, what is the communication to?
Yeah, I'm just saying
We'll come to the controversial bit a little later, but it was a very, very smart move from Rohit Sharma.
Oh, extremely smart. Just shows us so much game awareness.
Yeah.
Because the last ball of the over, in case you need to run to get the quicker runner
And it
in.
must have come from either they discussed it outside, or Rohit would have taken the decision inside.
I think he took the decision inside. Because there didn't seem to be any communication.
There was no communication. That's very clear. And nobody could have run up with gloves or anything. So clearly,
there was a 12th man who did come in.
Yep.
But was that when Rohit was walking out?
I think it was by the time.
But whatever it was, whoever's decision it was, whoever thought about it, kudos to you.
And then, scores tied once again. As I said, tie and tie till you succeed. They had to go into another super over, and Afghanistan would have believed that when they had to chase 11, they would have had a whiff, a 6 and a 4, a wicket and 2 outs. And then a massive, massive chess move from Rohit Sharma to give the ball to Ravi Bishnoi. The World Feed broadcast kept cutting to shots of Bishnoi and Avesh Khan with the ball, and all of us wondered who's going to bowl that one. Did you expect it to be Bishnoi?
No. Because by and large, you take a chance. The thing about spinners is that it's a bit of touch and go. If the batsman connects properly, it's gone.
Yep.
So your generally conventional wisdom seems to indicate that wide Yorkers or good Yorkers coming in, swinging Yorkers are the way to go. But he executed beautifully. So there's obviously Rohit read it right. He felt that this would perhaps be something they're not used to.
Yeah.
And I think he just played it beautifully. And see, it worked out for him also. 2 catches, both at the boundary. Don't forget that they managed to loft the ball. It's just that they got caught in the boundary.
11 to defend, Rohan. It takes a really gutsy captain to give the ball to a spinner.
I would have 100% given it to Bishnoi.
Really?
100%. Whoa, where's the debate?
But there's
Hindsight is 2020.
True. But I'll tell you one thing. I also have a feeling that had it been 15, 16, 17, you might have gone conventional.
Yeah.
Because it was 11, he said, let me do something strong. See, what do we talk about? Whenever there's a situation where one team has more of an advantage over the other, then the team which is the underdog always does something different. There's no point playing it conventionally.
Yeah.
So they give it to Bishnoi.
There were a lot of people asking for Washington Sundar to be given the ball. Who would you have gone with before you saw that shot of Bishnoi getting ready to bowl?
Bishnoi.
You would?
Without doubt. I was in my head thinking, why aren't they giving Bishnoi in the first super over?
But it does.
All jokes apart. I'm just kidding. I'm just obviously saying it because you gave it to Bishnoi and it worked out. But I can see the argument for Washi because he bowled really well in the original 20 overs first. But as Joe was saying, Bishnoi is something different where it's not the conventional sort of loopy or finger spin. It's that googly flipper. And we heard the commentators talk about the leg side boundary being a lot bigger from the end that he was going to bowl. So it all in all, it made a lot of sense.
Yep, he bowled one tossed-out delivery, thankfully, that didn't go for a 6. But 2 very well-bowled deliveries that got the 2 wickets. Ravi Bishnoi looks like he's a double super over magnet because the last time it happened in an IPL game, he was part of the Kings 11 Punjab against the Mumbai Indians.
Against the Mumbai Indians. So Rohit must have been a part as well.
I suppose, yeah. But on the losing side.
That's the beauty of having the Cricbuzz app on your phone.
It's all on Cricbuzz. It's all on Cricbuzz. I can promise you that. So in case you've missed out on all that drama that happened, must go and check out the text commentary section of Cricbuzz. But 2-1-2 in the bag, Rohan, most of us thought it's pretty much game.
Yeah, I've got to put my hand up and say that I thought this was game done and dusted when you get to 212. But for Afghanistan to tie the game, fabulous effort. They'll take a lot of positives from this game.
Yep.
Without doubt. Never beaten India, came that close to beating India twice within one game. Twice the game was tied. So lots of positives for Afghanistan from this game. Look, in terms of, when you look at a team and the sort of strides it makes in international cricket, you look at Sri Lanka, got its sort of international debut, I think they made in 1981. And within 15 years, they had won the World Cup in 1996. That's fabulous. That's phenomenal. but they had quality players playing, unofficial tests from the 70s. Afghanistan, similarly, since the time they've made their debut, they seem to be a little far away from winning a big tournament, but the strides that they've made in their cricket are just phenomenal. And the cricketers that they're producing, it's just fabulous to watch.
Yep. Joy, it was Gurbaz, Ibrahim Zadran, the captain, and then Gulbuddin Naib, who came in at number 3. 50s for all three of them. At 10, they were 85, and at that stage, we thought one will bring 2, 2 will bring 3. That did happen. The wickets came, but then the runs didn't stop either. So they kept themselves in the hunt because they built that base in the first 10 with 8.5 and over.
No, absolutely. I think they chased it beautifully, and they didn't look as if they were taking too many risks. I think that's the important thing. I think they have always been very decent T20 side. If their batting gets going, and the big thing about it is that Gurbaz is a known performer for them, and Zadran has also done well. What is important is that Gulbuddin Naib has played really well for them at 3. And remember, from the first match onwards, they dropped Rahmat Shah in the second match. They put in Gulbuddin Naib out there. Yeah. He is clearly their number 3 batsman for the World Cup. And I think that's important for them. The other important thing for them is Nabi finding batting form. Yeah. Because Nabi is a wonderful hitter. Down at 5 and 6, he's a fantastic hitter. He can really smack the ball. And these two batsmen coming into form, it also gives what happens. What are they also trying to do? They're also trying, they have, I think, 2-3 more T20s before the...
They have 6 more. 6 more.
6 more before the World Cup. They're just trying to make that combination. So Naib at 3, Gurbaz is opening with Zadran. I think that's a combination that they're now set.
In the second match, they dropped one batter, Rahmat Shah, to bolster their bowling. And if they can do this with 6 batters, then there is serious big hitting potential in this top order for sure. And then you add Nabi to it.
Look, like I said, I mean, T20 seems to be the format for them.
Yeah.
It's a format where they've got a lot of experience, may not be in terms of playing the big top teams, but they're playing against big players in big leagues across the world. Yeah. So that intimidation factor when you come across a big player is not there because you've played against that big player in a big league. Yeah. Yes, like you said, as a collective, they've got still a long way to go. But in terms of individual performances, you're not overawed when you come across a Virat Kohli or a Rohit Sharma or a Steve Smith because you've played against them in big leagues. Yep. So this seems to be the format for them.
Joy, at what point did you think, hang on, Afghanistan have a chance? Because at 85 for nothing after 10, they were 93 when the first wicket fell. Kuldeep got the wicket of Gurbaz, caught Washington Sundar. At what stage did you think, listen, maybe they have a chance?
I thought throughout. Because
they needed 50 of 25 towards the end.
Yeah, but if you look at that worm was always ahead.
Above India, yes.
Always above India. The only reason India, they reached where it does was because of the 36-run final over. Yeah. And you've basically scored over 100 runs in your last 5. You have averaged more than 20 runs. Yep. So their graph was always ahead. Just look at India scoring in the last, that 20.6. I mean, that is basically what's made the difference. 13.4 and 20.6.
And 36 in that last over that Rohan referred to.
Joy just pulled off a Rohan. When Rohan said, Ravi Bishnoi, I was always thinking Ravi Bishnoi will bowl. You asked Joy, when did you think they were in the game? Throughout. Right from the start.
But they just kept themselves in the hunt. Did India miscalculate or misjudge what Afghanistan could do? I wouldn't use the word complacent.
No, I don't think this...
Were they caught napping?
No, I don't think this team is... the sort to take any team lightly. Yeah. From what I know and what I've seen from this team, they give respect to all opposition that they come across. Yep. I just think sometimes you've got to doff your hat. Listen, if India can score 100 in the last 5 overs, we've spoken about the fact that the Afghan players have a lot of T20 experience, a lot of big hitting ability, striking ability. They can get there. Right, 100 in 5 is like 20 and over. If you can go at 20 and over, there's no reason why So 212, what it tells you on this pitch with the ground dimensions, 212 was par for the course. Yeah. It wasn't something which went over the course, which was,
Absolutely.
So it wasn't, in a sense, yes, it was a great chase, but if you play well, you're going for par for the course.
The Indian bowling will make some of you worry in the absence of Bumrah. There was no Arshdeep either today. This is what happened. Except Washington Sundar, who surprisingly bowled only 3. Everybody else went for runs and big runs. Take a look at that. Avesh Khan, 55. There were a lot of dot balls as well. Now, perhaps what this tells us is that there were a lot of boundary balls too.
Absolutely. Look, this is a problem with, not a problem, this is the characteristic of this ground as well. This is the kind of ground where if you turn around and you stay in the innings, you stay in there, you start seeing the ball, you can hit sixes at will. This is how Chinnaswamy has always played. Therefore, you're always... Secondly, Chinnaswamy favors chasing teams. Simply because, you know, a little bit dew comes in, even if it doesn't come in, the ball's not going to do very much in the end. You can just whack it. You can just line it up and whack it. Once you've set, you can really hit it hard. So that's the big problem. Or not problem, that's the way the ground plays. So he's absolutely right. 212 was par. It's just that we benchmarked against two things. The previous two matches, okay, which were played in very different conditions. The first was played in freezing conditions up north, okay. So very different conditions those two matches were played. And the second were, everyone was thought that 212 was fantastic after 22 for 4.
Yeah.
But the point of it was 212 for this ground is, okay, 50% pass mark. It's not a winning total, it's a total that keeps you in the game.
No, because also just, if I may, when we went back to the start of the show, you said 222, Joy said 210, I said 196. So we were all around that 200 mark. So that just tells you that that is what everyone thought we'd get to.
Well, 36 dot balls, and that means that these 212 runs were scored off 84 deliveries. One man, though, stood out, Washington Sundar. I mean, this is all he can do, right? Before that big World Cup announcement happens, he's still got an IPL to go, but he bowled really well. Best of the lot today.
Well, look, if you've picked up 3 wickets, taken 18 runs, at the economy of a runner ball, when 212 runs have been scored, I don't know who's player of the match, but for me, he'd be a really strong contender to be player of the match. I know most likely it's going to be Rohit Sharma for 120, but
I think it's also going to be Rohit for the other reason is
the way
nobody else scored in the Super Over. For India, none of the others got any runs in the Super Over, but Rohit scored for them.
But for me, Washington would be a very strong contender.
Surprised that he only bowled 3?
No, because I think it's the way the rotation is. And at the time that he finished his third over, I think it was the 14th or 15th. I mean, at that point in time, for him to bring him back would have been dangerous towards him because you can go for a lot. I think the worry for India would be that Shivam Dube, if he goes, he can really travel. He's had 2 really good matches comparatively.
I don't think Shivam would be interested with the 19th and 20th over.
No.
So I don't think, in a sense, I know what you're saying, but I don't think that would be really a problem because he got a bit of tap in the 19th. In a normal situation, that would be Arshdeep or someone bowling that, or Jasprit. So Shivam would probably bowl in the middle overs, and I don't think India would expect 4 overs from him.
No, I think he's a 2-over bowler. And I think if they think he's going to give you more than that, I think we are in trouble.
Once again, tricky question for you since you were so good at geography in school. Is Washington going to New York?
I think he should. I think you had me stumped there.
But then there's Jadeja, there's Akshar, there's Kuldeep, and you're saying there'll be Washington Sundar. Or do we wait for the first 7 games of the IPL?
No, actually, when you now mention those other 3 names with Jadeja, Kuldeep, and Akshar.
Now there's Bishnoi as well after the Super Over. So I mean, there are so many options for India to choose from.
I think they'll wait to see, but it's going to be really. I mean, like we said, we've been saying from the start, it's the fight in any team, the selection, the fight is always for 2-3 players. 10, 11 pick themselves. You're always at 19, 20 is between 2 or 3 players. Do we pick him? Do we pick him? And so for these players, those 19, 20, 2 or 3 players, it'll come down to form in the IPL.
Yes, well, a dramatic game this one, to say the least. A double Super Over win for India. Afghanistan must be complimented for the way they fought right till the very end. And it's only towards the end where Bishnoi picked up the 2 wickets, where Afghanistan fell short. India winning this 3-match series 3-0. And that also makes Rohit Sharma the joint most successful T20 international captain for India. I think it's 151 wins for India in this format. He's defined captaincy in T20 cricket, whether it's the IPL or internationals.
Absolutely, and it's his percentage rate of match winning. I think he's above 70% of his matches, or at least definitely between 65 and 70% of his matches he's won. Even people like MS Dhoni and Virat Kohli don't have the success rate that Rohit does in T20 matches.
Yep.
And that's something you can really, really be proud of. I think he manages his troops well. And I think he leads without imposing his will so much. He allows players to express themselves. I think he gets this format instinctively.
And just the way he took those really quick decisions towards the end, this goes to show that he's sort of owns the format. That DNA, that software is really coded into his DNA.
Well, I think this is the format where your captaincy skills are really tested. Because it's quick. In Test cricket, yes, it's tested, but you have a lot of time on your hands to, in case a session's not going your way, you can just slow down the tempo. You can get a lot of help from your coach.
Exactly.
Senior players within the dressing room have chats. But this is the format where, with that time constraint, with penalties for not bowling your overs within that stipulated time, this is the format where your captaincy skills really get tested. And as Joy said, if he's got a higher winning percentage than some of the captains that he mentioned, MS and Virat, that tells you what a good captain he is.
Well, Rohit Sharma, the batter, was on song with his 5th T20 International 100. With that, he becomes the highest score, the most run scorer as captain for India. 121, add 4 more runs to that, which weren't given by umpire Viru, which he had an argument about as well. 11 fours, 8 sixes, an innings that we shall remember for a very long time.
Absolutely. And just see the way this innings was constructed. Okay, firstly, it should have been 125. He should have got 4 more extra runs because, that leg by, and at that point in time, he's sitting on 2 ducks in his last 2 innings. So obviously, he wasn't particularly upset, but he could smile it off. But in the 15th over, come over number 15th, at the end of 15 overs, Rohit Sharma is sitting on 55 of 47 balls with 1 6. Okay? No, 2 sixes.
Yeah.
And then he gets to 100, in the next 22 balls, he goes up to 121. Can you imagine how much that is? So basically, he's got 66 runs in 22 balls. He's scoring at 3 and over after that. That means
3 a ball.
Yeah, he's scoring at 3 a ball after that.
What I really liked about this innings is generally you say in a T20 game now, the template is to go bang, bang, bang right from word go.
Yeah.
And that is the template that is set. But both Rohit and Rinku used their cricketing intelligence at 22 for 4 and said no. They've sussed the pitch out, said we can get runs later on, but let's just give ourselves a little bit of time because if we lose a wicket or 2 here, we are 70 all out.
Yeah.
We are 90 all out. At 22 for 4, it goes to 30 for 4, and then you think, okay, so let's give ourselves a little bit of time. Yeah. We have that ability to make up for it as the innings progress, and they did last 5 overs 100. But this is a one-off. Normally, you want your teams to go play in a different template, but to have that cricketing intelligence and the skill set to adapt and adjust and change your game to what needs to be done.
Yeah.
That is key.
And his innovation, Rohit Sharma's innovation in terms of shot making is a story in itself.
Absolutely. I mean, we are talking about, 2 of the reverse hits, couple of them went to the fielders, then 1 goes for 6. What about the shot that he hit outside off stump, picked up the ball and hit it past square leg? That's so much Surya Kumar Yadav, and that's so important about Virat Kohli. About Rohit Sharma. Rohit is learning from everyone in the game. He's learning from Surya also. He's learning shots from there. He's looking at that and says, you know what, I can play that because he has all the talent in the world. Yeah. And I think this is the Rohit that you're seeing. He's that Rohit 2.0 that started with the World Cup 2023. This is the Rohit you're going to see in T20 cricket from now on.
Also, his 6s in the super over perhaps told you that all that experience came to fruition to help India stay in the game in the super over, and then Bishnoi finishing it as well. Now, when the series was starting, we were all talking about the questions that India wants to answer in these 3 games. We've seen performances from Shivam Dube with the bat and the ball. We saw him bowl that back of the hand delivery, a couple of 50s as well, has been named man of the series. One of the questions that has been answered, Shivam Dube at 4 looks like something that India will look at very, very seriously and will be very encouraged by
going
to the World Cup.
I don't think so. Shivam Dube at 4 is not happening because if Surya Kumar Yadav is fit and available, he's at 4. That's another nailed-on certainty for me.
He's just put out a picture of his from the hospital after the surgery today. So he'll be
so if he's fit for the World Cup and whatever, he's a nailed-on certainty. So Shivam Dube has made the most of his opportunities, but will Shivam Dube find a place in the final 11? Not 100% sure. It depends on the fitness of a lot of other players.
I say even final 15. And the reason I say why final 15 is because really you don't in the conditions that you're going to, if Hardik Pandya is fit, you may not need a second fast bowling or medium pace bowling all-rounder.
So you're saying Washington Sundar maybe?
Yeah, so you have Akshar Patel, you have Ravindra Jadeja, you have Washington Sundar. So you have three people who can bowl and bat 3-4 overs for you, right? In conditions that they are going. Bumrah is going to play definitely. Shiraz is going to play definitely. Perhaps Shami might play. So might not play. I mean, might play. Will definitely be in the 15. If Shami is fit, he'll be there. So 3 fast bowlers go there. If you have 3 all-rounders out here, then start seeing how it's constructed, because you will definitely you will take a Kuldeep along. And then you look at the batting. And if you're looking at what India is looking at now, Rohit, Yashasvi starting.
Kohli at 3.
Virat at 3.
Surya at 4.
Surya at 4.
Hardik 5.
So then you have Shreyas, Hardik, Rinku, Rishabh Pant may be back.
You need a keeper in between over there, no?
Yeah, exactly. One of them will keep as well. KL might keep. So you have so many options out there. And that's why I'm saying...
Jitesh, there is Sanju Samson.
Exactly. So my point is, where do you name... Ishan Kishan.
Now, this series should mean something. Performances here should mean something. And I hate to play devil's advocate here, but I've got to do it. I've got to do it. Can a cynic say, listen, yes, India won, but hang on, this is still Afghanistan. Is that an unfair assessment?
That's an unfair assessment, because you wanted to ask a few questions. You answered those questions. But what's happened is there have been more questions asked after this because everyone's performed. So if you had, sometimes, you think, okay, let's give a couple of players opportunities in case they, God forbid, they do badly. That's ruled them out of contention. But all the players who were given opportunities and were asked to do a certain role, they've done it exceedingly well. So they've put their hand up. So it's a problem of plenty for the Indian selectors. But I think it's always unfair to say it's only against X, Y, Z or whatever, because you can only do the job against the opposition that you're playing against.
I just want to take up this case and again talk about perhaps one of the greatest sides in history, which is the Australian side of the early 2000s. You had players like Darren Lehman, Brad Hodge, Michael Kasparovich, who were never regulars. They would, in the south, out of the south, in the side, out of the side. Even you say Hayden before that. Hayden really struggled before he finally made in India in 2001. When you have top quality international teams at their top level form, you're going to find people who've done everything. Shivam Dube has done everything to get onto that ticket to New York. But he still might not find place because they are better players than him. And I think that is that's not a bad problem to have. These are good problems for India. You have depth. Shivam Dube has been given a chance. He's done everything he can to be there. But now I still feel somebody needs to be injured or somebody needs to go down for him to be on the flight.
But we spoke about this. It's always about, is there an opportunity at that level for you to fill in when you're doing well? We've spoken about in the 70s, Padmakar Shivalkar and Rajinder Goel not getting an opportunity. The Australian side, someone like Stuart Law didn't play too many tests. He was scoring,
absolutely.
He was scoring runs for fun.
And in the county cricket, he's a legend.
He was scoring runs for fun. In Shield cricket, he was scoring runs for fun. In the 1 or 2 opportunities that he got for Australia, I think he even got 100 or a double 100.
Brad Hodge got a double 100. Got a double 100.
So that is just the nature of the beast. That is just how champion teams are.
Now, has the Indian T20 batting opening conundrum been solved? Now, after this 100 and seeing what Yashasvi Jaiswal has done?
I would think so. I would think so that if, Rohit is going to be there with Jaiswal, Jaiswal's a certainty. For me, it's not I've said Jaiswal, Surya Kumar and Rinku are certainties as far as the batting is concerned.
Rohit sealed the deal now, for sure, with this 100?
I think Rohit sealed the deal in his own head. And as long as Rohit is happy in his own head that he can play, I don't think anyone else needs to ask him any questions. If Rohit says, I think I'm up for this World Cup, they should just buy his ticket.
The discussion here is about Rohit and Virat generally. Social media discussion, fans discussion. I can't say I know the two players really well on an individual or, I know them well. But from what you see from the outside, is that they're very honest players. They're very honest to their craft. They're very honest towards, what the nation wants. If they feel they can't do it, they'll be the first to say, listen, you know what, I don't think I'm up for it. So for players who've done so much for our country, at such a high level consistently, I think you've got to give them the benefit of the doubt that they will have the best interest of the country at heart. They'll put country first.
But Jaiswal, does he own that opening spot with whoever it is alongside?
I think so. I think so. Just because I think he left, right, he complements Rohit very well. He's also not scared to go from the very start. And now the Indian playing template is bang, bang, bang from the start. We've learnt our lesson in 2022. We are not going to hang around and wait for things to happen. We're going to go bang from the start.
As far as the bowling is concerned, Arshdeep Singh seems to be settling in. Now, in the absence of Bumrah and Siraj, he's done well enough as well. So, another question answered, I suppose.
I think with Arshdeep, what's happened is there's been a little bit of inconsistency.
Yeah.
Where sometimes he gets a bit of tap. But he's also the bowler, when you need 8 to defend, you're going to chuck him the ball.
Yeah.
And say, listen, bro.
Yeah.
Do your magic, because he nails those Yorkers.
Yeah.
So he's the bowler. When you need 8 in the last over, you'll have a lot of confidence giving him the ball. He may go for runs, but you also know he has that ability to win you the game at 8 when there's a 6 or 8 required in an over.
Yeah.
Listen, I've always said, and a lot of people, don't judge a player by what he does when he does badly. You can score a 0, Joy can score a 0, I can score a 0, Virat Kohli can score a 0. But what Virat Kohli can do on his good day, none of us can do.
Yeah.
So in the same way, what Arshdeep can do when he's having a good day and he's nailing those Yorkers, a lot of other bowlers can't do.
Also, there seems to be a fair bit of honesty with Arshdeep as well. Before the ODI World Cup, I suppose he was spoken to, and he seems to have worked on just bowling Yorkers. In fact, in an interview, he said, I'm not looking at bowling slower balls. So clearly, someone who's thinking more clearly about his craft.
Absolutely. I mean, there's this great thing that John Buchanan once told me. He was talking about a particular Pakistani player who had a lot of strokes. And he was comparing it to somebody like an Adam Gilchrist. And he said that he has fantastic strokes, but he hits 10 strokes at 70% accuracy. Adam Gilchrist has 4 basic shots. He's got the pickup, he's got one drive, he's got one slashing cut, and he's got a defense. But he plays those with 97, 98% accuracy. So I think you look at Adam Gilchrist in that sense, or a closer example would be a bowler like Glenn McGrath. Even if you do 2 things well, but do them really, really well. And I think Arshdeep is understanding that. He doesn't need 5 variations. He just needs to bowl a really good Yorker. He's got the movement away anyway. He's got some movement in there. All he needs to do is have more control. And I think that's what you do. At some stage with maturity, in the beginning you want to learn a lot of things and you want to try a lot of things. I think he's now settling down on what his team really requires.
Well, India have started the year 2024 with a 3-0 sweep of Afghanistan in the shortest format. From that, we shall move to the oldest format. A 5 test match series between India and England starts on the 25th of Jan in Hyderabad. That's the first test match. Ben Stokes' team are going to come to India with a chef. But what they need is to replicate their performance from about 10 years ago. That's the last time they won a test series in India. But it's been a while since they won a test match in India. The last tour a couple of years ago, they won that first test match in Chennai. A quick look at the India squad first for this 5 test match series. In fact, India have announced the squad only for the first 2. Now, Rohan, there is talk of KL Rahul possibly playing as a specialist batter. How do you like that idea?
Yeah, I mean, great. I think KL Rahul as a specialist batter, what that tells me is that the pitch might turn a bit. Because then you go for a proper specialist keeper. That's why you're playing KL as a special batter, because you think you're going to need a lot of good glove work behind the stumps in terms of stumping, catches to the spinners, having that. So I think it's the right decision. KL has been fabulous. I've always said that if KL finishes his career without more than 5,000 test runs, I, as a huge fan of KL, will be very disappointed.
And given how that Cape Town test match pitch was, I suppose the English media will have to think of newer things to write about, because there is a very strong chance the ball will turn in the second session on day 1 in India.
Yeah, absolutely. Firstly, can I say that bringing a chef to India, where I have to say that, hospitality in India and the Far East is far ahead of whatever you get in any part of the world.
Listen, I've stayed in hotels in England on an India tour, where honestly some of the rooms that we've stayed in, you could touch the walls from the bed, both sides of the walls from your bed. That's how small those rooms were.
Yeah, I mean, literally. So for them to talk about having to bring a chef into India is a bit much. I mean, cooking, all these things are dramatically increased.
Yeah.
But I think part of it is all this, the whole play about, mental battles that, our players, and I think they're actually shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
I mean, by saying that I need a chef, I think they're shooting themselves in the foot because their players are going to be scared.
Yeah.
A young 18-year-old like a Rohan is coming to India and he's wondering, what are they so scared about? Is the food in India that dodgy? And why would you want to put that in a player's head? So two things. I mean,
You're coming to the land where your national food, curry, is curry is your national food.
Chicken tikka masala,
chicken
exactly.
tikka masala, and you're coming to the land that's,
I'm not sure if that chef is going to help them prepare for what's on the menu.
they're going to miss the real chef, Alistair Cook.
Absolutely. Because the Indian spin trio has the ability to make them eat humble pie, Joy.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I like that. Well done, Manish Batavia.
well done.
So there's Kuldeep, there is Akshar Patel, Ravichandran Ashwin, Jadeja. Is it a tricky one to pick the 11 for you? And this one's for the both of you. For Hyderabad, who do you go with?
Look, I think they'll play 3 spinners. There's no doubt in my head at all. They'll play 3 spinners. If they play that, I think it's going to be a toss for the 3rd spinner between Akshar and Kuldeep. But definitely 3 spinners will play. 2 fast bowlers, 3 spinners, and the batters and a specialist keeper. I think that's what they'll go for. Expect every pitch to turn. Every pitch to turn. It doesn't need to be vicious turn because you don't need the quality of spinners we have. They don't need vicious turn.
Yeah.
In fact, it's the reverse. Just a gentle turner, normal turner. These our bowlers have the quality to be able to get really, really good results out of it.
Rohan, with this squad, it looks like India have moved on from the Pujara era, and that means it'll be Shubman Gill's first real big test at number 3, first home test series for Yashasvi Jaiswal as well. And if you can do well against England, well, the world will remember. It's a marquee 5 test match series.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you do well for India, the world will remember.
Yeah.
Because I think when you do well for India now, because look, we are, in a sense, such a cricket-loving public. We just swallow cricket content and we just love cricket, and the world remembers that. So I think if you do well for India in a big series, like you say, it is a marquee series.
Yeah.
India-England's always a marquee series. India-Australia, India-England's always a marquee series. And you do well here, these are the performances that will be remembered. So yeah, big one for Shubman, big one for Yashasvi. Again, 2 outstanding young talents, who've made us smile over the last, Yashasvi over the last year and Shubman over the last couple of years, who've made us really proud. Another opportunity for them to do so.
Bumrah will be well rested as well. One key player to watch out for from India, one each.
Look, for me in conditions like this, Ravindra Jadeja. I mean, Jadeja is a deadly bowler in slightly turning conditions with his accuracy. He's absolutely devastating. Akshar is just as good, and that's a tragedy that they might have to play one of those 2.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with whoever's keeping. whether it's KL or KS Bharat or maybe Dhruv Jurel if he makes his debut.
Is it more an internship for Dhruv Jurel?
I would think so. It's more of an internship. Get used to the
mahal of being in an Indian
atmosphere. What it's like to be part of, the Indian team. The protocol. Just get used to that. It's a bedding in period. But either KS Bharat or KL, whoever keeps, my eyes will be on the keeper.
Well, before we take a look at and talk about the England squad, we've got a question with hashtag #AskCricbuzz Live. Let's bring it up very quickly. It refers to Bazball. Simple, straight up from Swayam Thakur. It says, can Bazball succeed in India? This one's for you, Rohan.
Well, I'm just going to say, can they survive Bazball? Paras Mambre, Paras Mambre's pet name is Paz.
Well done.
He's our bowling coach.
You've just given the Indian media their first headline if India does well. In that it's Bazball versus Bazball.
Can they survive our bowling coach's tactics and shrewd little nuances that he's going to bring into the attack?
Well, since the time Brendan McCullum took over in 2022, England have not lost a single test series. They've won 4, they've drawn 3, but if there is one frontier that could be very, very tricky to conquer, it is this.
Yeah, look, and it's only going to get tougher because right now, I think this Indian team, one of the reasons why it's done so well over the last 7-8 years, why we've been winning test matches, because we've got, in my opinion, one of the most balanced and lethal bowling attacks in world cricket.
Yeah.
If it's a seaming pitch, we know what Siraj, Bumrah and Shami can do.
Yep.
If it's a turning pitch, we know what our spinners can do.
Yep.
So in terms of balance and ability, I think we've got one of the best attacks that we've seen so far.
The England squad will tell you that they've come to India with 4 pacers and 4 spinners. Shoaib Bashir, a 20-year-old off spinner. There's left-arm spinner Tom Hartley. There's Rehan Ahmed, the leg spinner. And then there's Jack Leach, left-arm orthodox.
Yeah, so Jack Leach is their spinner who's been around for a while, and they really, he's their standard spinner. If they play one spinner, they normally play Leach. But interesting ones. Rehan Ahmed, the youngest player to make his debut for England, leggy. They really think that he's got a great future ahead of him. Tom Hartley plays for Lancashire. He's a left-arm spinner, but I think he'll be behind Jack Leach. I think Jack Leach is the one who's the thing. The interesting one is Shoaib Bashir, who's just played about 6 or 7 games for Somerset. He's got a very interesting action. But at this point in time, I think for people like Rehan and Shoaib Bashir, it's their coming to India and playing in the toughest place in the world. It's also an internship for them.
Yeah.
If to expect them to come out and really dazzle us first time around is going to be very difficult. I see this as a difficult series for England. They don't have the batting that they used to, and the conditions that are going to be here, the scoring at 5-6 and over is not against the accuracy. People like Jadeja, people like Ashwin on pitches like this have metronomic accuracy. Very difficult to hit them. So the kind of baseball that they play in the pitches that we expect them to have out here with the bowling attack we have, I don't think it's going to work out that way for them.
Well, clearly their batting revolves around Joe Root, who scored that magnificent double 100 in Chennai to win them their only test match on England's last test tour to India. But clearly there'll be a lot more build-up content around this series and before the series starts on the 25th. Very quickly, gentlemen, one player to watch out for from England.
From England, I'm going to go...
Ben Stokes may not bowl. Unlikely to bowl.
No, I think it's going to be a test of the batting ability more than anything. So I'm going to go with Joe Root again. Because he's part of the Fab Four. Look, his pedigree, the skill set that he brings to this English team. And just to watch as a cricket fan, I'd love to see Joe Root get some runs.
I mean, I would have gone for Root as well. But I don't want to go to Stoke. I think they will need a third batsman to really get going. So I'd go for Ben Duckett.
Harry Brook is there as well in the squad.
Harry Brook is there, Ben Duckett is there, but I really, as I said, if Zach Crawley, Ben Duckett can start getting as an opening pair, it's very important for them. In very hostile conditions, it's important for them to get good starts.
Well, I'm just hoping we see long test matches, not a day and a half test matches, because it's not fun. It's not fun. We expect a very hard-fought 5-test match series. A lot of you have fought to be the winner of Joy Factor as well. Joy, very quickly, it's been a long day. We've worked overnight.
2 days.
The date has changed, sir. What's the question?
The question is, and before that, 20th anniversary of your playing international cricket.
And
20 years.
And more importantly, 14 years since my son was born.
Yeah.
I've got to go back home and cut a cake with him. He'll be really cross with me. And I'll blame it on the 2 super overs.
Correct. Blame it on Afghanistan.
Blame it on the super overs.
Blame it on Rio.
So which is why we made a request saying, please give us a longer game so we can be with Rohan when the clock strikes 12. We will get a Brisbane Gabba story from Rohan, I promise you.
Can I just tell you something? This show and this game has lasted nearly as long as my international career. It feels like that.
Rohan, everyone remembers Cotton Bowl, Andrew Simons. We will get a story from Rohan on that, but Joy Factor first.
Okay, the Joy Factor question here, and it's about 100. It was Alan Border in ODIs in 87 and Alan Border for Tests in 1993. Who is it for T20s in which year? The year I'll tell you is 2024, and of course it is 150 T20 internationals.
Wow.
Rohit Sharma is the first to play 150 T20 internationals. So he's reached that landmark. It's been an amazing landmark and he's done fantastically for India.
And the winner is, what a day for Rohit Sharma to be the correct answer, because I suppose Joy knew that Rohit would have a great day. Vijay Anaparthi gets the correct answer and a thumbs up from Joy. So well done. It was a tricky one. And now to Mr. Gavaskar for a story of that beautiful, unforgettable afternoon in Brisbane Gabba.
Well, not a story, but I was, like I said, I was informed only on the when we went to the team huddle that I was playing, because one of our very favorite, very own from Cricbuzz, Viru, sort of pulled up on the day and he was unfit, and that's how I got my opportunity. Sometimes I think, you've got to look at the luck that plays a part in your career. I went on that tour only because Mohammad Kaif got injured and I went in as a replacement. I got a chance to play that game and make my debut for India because Viru got injured. So a little bit of luck over there.
And that catch, still remember?
Yeah, because I call it my Ballu moment. Because everyone talks about Balwinder Singh Sandhu's ball that he bowled to Gordon Greenidge. Everyone talks, a lot of people fondly remember that, as do I. And I was just happy that it played a part in us winning that game. The first time we beat Australia in a really long, after like 20 years or something like that. So I was really happy that it played a part in us winning the game.
Did Dad get emotional? What did he say? Remember that conversation with him?
No, I don't remember that conversation with him.
Such a humble man. Oh, by the way, there's another piece of trivia that Rohan shared with us in the lounge. The Gavaskar family has a total of?
99 first-class hundreds.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a feat. What a feat. So, well done, Rohan.
Yeah, look, 99 is a magical number. I mean, Don Bradman's average was 99. So we thought, look, let's stop there.
Excellent. And we shall stop here as well. It's been a very long day. We came in quite early this evening. We got a double super over, a win for India, a magnificent 100 from Rohit. So a day well spent. No midweek blues for us, but the Blues winning in grand fashion. Thank you, Joy. And thank you, Rohan.
Thank
you guys and girls, make sure you stick to Cricbuzz. Cricbuzz Chatter will come back on day one of that first test match between India and England. It's past 12. You guys and girls, good night.